Claude Desktop runs 140 tool calls a day on my home server, touches my file system, queries Postgres live, and reads client Gmail, and I never wrote a line of API code. If you've been told the way to actually use Claude is the chat at claude.ai or Claude Code in the terminal, you've been shown the wrong window. In the next 14 minutes, I'll set up the exact native app cockpit I use to run client operations from one screen. Most tutorials skip Claude Desktop because configuring MCP servers looks scary in JSON. I do this daily for clients who don't write code. Let's start with the file 90% of tutorials never even show you. Here's the painful part most solopreneurs never get told. You sign up for Claude, you use the chat, you paste in some text, you get a nice answer, and you walk away thinking that's the product. Meanwhile, your actual work, the invoices sitting in a folder, the unpaid clients in a Postgres table, the Gmail thread you've been ignoring for 3 days, none of it is connected to the model. So you become a human copy-paste machine between Claude and your real tools. That's the trap. And it's why people churn off Claude after a month, thinking it's just a fancier ChatGPT. The leverage is not the chat. The leverage is Claude Desktop, the native app, plus MCP Model Context Protocol, which lets Claude reach into your file system, your databases, your email, and your APIs directly. No code in the middle. No API keys floating in Python scripts. No Zapier attacks, just the model and your real systems in one window. Most existing tutorials fail for one of 3 reasons. They teach claude.ai, which is sandboxed and can't touch your stuff. They teach Claude Code, which is brilliant, but it's for engineers in a terminal. Or they hand-wave MCP as some future thing without showing you the config file. I'm going to show you the file, the 3 servers that matter, and 2 live demos against real client data, invoices and a Postgres table, in under 14 minutes. Step 1. Install Claude Desktop from claude.ai download. Mac, Windows, both work. On WSL, you run the Windows installer, and Claude Desktop will still see your WSL paths through the file system server we'll add in a moment. Once it's installed, open it once, sign in, then quit it fully. We need the app closed to edit its config. Now the file nobody shows you. On Mac it lives at library, application support, Claude desktop.config.json. On Windows it's at app data, roaming, Claude desktop.config.json. If the file isn't there yet, create it. This single JSON file is the entire wiring diagram for everything Claude Desktop can do beyond chat. Every MCP server you add lives here. Every permission, every path, every API key. One file. That's it. Step 2. Connect the first MCP server file system. This is the one that pays for itself in week 1. Inside the config you add an MCP servers block, then a file system entry that runs the official server via npixeyes, and you pass it the directories you want Claude to see. I usually give it the client folder and the invoices folder. Nothing else. The reason that matters, Claude can only read what you let it read. If you give it your whole home directory, you'll regret it on day 2 when context bloats. Be surgical. Step 3. Add Postgres. Same config file. Second entry under MCP servers, also runs via npx, and you pass it a connection string. Read-only credentials. I cannot stress this enough. Give the MCP server a database user that has select and nothing else. Claude will occasionally try to be helpful and suggest an update. With read-only creds, it physically can't. This is the kind of guardrail that separates a tool you trust with client data from a science project. Step 4. Add a Gmail MCP server. There are open source ones, and for clients I deploy a custom one that handles OAuth properly and scopes to a single label so Claude can't accidentally read personal mail. You add it the same way: name, command, args, and any environment variables it needs. Restart Claude Desktop fully. Quit, don't just close the window. On Mac, that's Command Q. If you skip the full quit, your new servers won't load and you'll think MCP is broken. It's not. The app just cached the old config. When Claude Desktop reopens, you'll see a little tools icon in the input bar. Click it. You should see your 3 servers listed with their available tools: red _ file, list duck directory, query, search _ messages, and so on. If you see them, you're done with setup. That's the part everyone makes look complicated. It's one file and a restart. Now the demos, because configuration without proof is theater. Demo 1. I point Claude at the invoices folder and I ask, read every PDF in this directory and tell me which ones are marked unpaid, and total them by client. Claude calls list duck directory, then read unsk file across the folder, passes the text layer, and gives me a clean summary with client names and amounts. 40 seconds. No script. No upload. The files never left my machine. Demo 2. I asked Claude to query the clients table in Postgres for anyone whose last invoice sex status is overdue, more than 14 days. Then draft a polite follow-up email in the tone of my previous Gmail replies. It runs the query, pulls 6 rows, then calls the Gmail server to search my sent folder for past follow-ups to match my tone. Then draft 6 emails as drafts, not sent, drafted. I review. I send the ones I approve. What used to be a Friday afternoon of copy-paste is now 4 minutes of review. Now the 4 limits nobody warns you about, because I want you to ship this, not rage quit it. 1. Tool timeouts. MCP servers have a default timeout around 60 seconds. If you ask Claude to read 200 PDFs in one call, it will hang. Batch in tens. 2. Context bloat. Every tool result goes into the conversation. After 32 calls, Claude slows down and starts forgetting earlier instructions. Start a new chat for each task. 3. Permission prompts. Claude Desktop asks you to approve each tool call the first time. There's a checkbox to allow for the session. Use it, but never globally. 4. Restart loops. Any change to the config file requires a full quit. If a server fails to start, Claude Desktop will silently skip it and not tell you why. Open the developer log under help to see the actual error. That one cost me an hour the first time. That's the full setup. Native app, 1 config file, 3 MCP servers, 2 real workflows against real client data. Around 140 tool calls a workday across Gmail, filesystem, and Postgres on a small home server, replacing what used to be 2 hours of admin every morning. If you want the exact Claude Desktop config.json I just walked through, plus the scoped Gmail MCP server we deploy for clients, the install template lives on BizflowAI.io. That's where we show real automations we ship for small businesses and agencies. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next MCP breakdown finds you. And if you've got a workflow you want running like this but you don't want to touch JSON, book a free 30-minute discovery call at BizflowAI.io and we'll scope it with you.